if you could choose one animal product to erase from everyone's diet, which one would you choose?
Oh, dairy products, without hesitation, without a question. And again, I did much of my growing up on my uncle's dairy farm, and I milked cows since I was 8 or 10, and didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand what those plaintive moos coming out of the dairy barn were as we took the mother's calf away from her while she's locked up in the stanchion. She would bellow for hours, for days it would go on. And I didn't understand, Mommy, why is the cow crying? I didn't understand then. I sure do now. You cannot get that milk flowing without making that cow pregnant, having her give birth, taking that calf away, and sucking that milk off. There's an inherent tragedy, there's an inherent kidnapping, there's a forcible insemination, and then a kidnapping from these very sentient creatures. And often a bit of a tangent there, but that's not why we'll get to the health reasons in a minute, but a side benefit is that if the dairy industry would disappear, so much suffering would disappear. It's a cruel, cruel industry. It's a crime against women, against the sisterhood. These are all against female animals that are inseminated and have their kids taken away. And then when they stop giving milk, they wind up as shot in the head for a hamburger. It's just a crime against the female of the species. That said, I thought when we were harvesting, sucking that milk off them, that as we were pouring the milk into the big cans there, oh, white and pure, lovely, wonderful health, nature's perfect food. I didn't realize, but when I would squat down about to put the milkers on the cow's tits there would be, I would have a bucket of hot water and a rag, because there would be manure caked on the cow's tits, and that's the proper anatomical term, before the milker went on. And I know I didn't get every last little particle off there, and so there's a steady stream of E. coli and salmonella, et cetera, going into the milk. And we pasteurize it, but who knows what that does to the molecular structure of the protein to heat it up that high. But anyway, I'd heard for years that people consume dairy products, they get everything from more runny noses, more asthma, more eczema. Kids raised on lots of cow's milk often get really severe allergy problems. Their gut can react and they can bleed from the gut. It's called Heiner's syndrome. I had it. We could never figure it out. I had this low-grade anemia. Every time I went to the doctor and got my fingers stuck, Mickey, you've got low iron. But I was guzzling milk by the quart on the farm and back in Chicago. And now I understand that it makes the gut wall bleed, and the iron goes out in the stool. You don't see it, but it's mixed in with the stool there, and there's a steady low-grade iron loss from this. It's another sign that we shouldn't be drinking the milk of a cow any more than we should have milk of a giraffe or a moose or a horse or a rat. A little dog milk on your cereal, It's a strange thing that we pour there. But that was back in the 50s. But back in the 50s, when a cow became fertile, we would lock up in the stanchion and call the man from Badger Breeders, and he'd come and do the insemination. And if the cow had been giving milk, she'd dry up. She'd stop giving milk, stop lactating. And pregnant mammals don't lactate. There's a good reason for that. And my uncle would pull out his notebook, well, bossy number 17 won't be milking till she has her calf in the spring. We calculate 9 months and calculate when she'll have her calf. And that's just the way it was. And pregnant cows, they dry up. Well, we had 49 cows that we milked, and it's a pretty small operation. Today's modern dairy operations milk 2,000 cows or more twice a day. They can't afford to have their big industrial milker cows go offline for 9 months at a time to have a baby. So they've genetically modified the dairy cows now. And now the cows will give milk. Even though they're pregnant with their next calf, they're still giving milk. Well, when a woman is pregnant, or any female, any mammal is pregnant, her body is coursing with estrogens, whether you're a woman or a fox or a coyote, you got estrogens in your tissues. Well, it gets into the milk, and which is one reason why nature has pregnant moms dry up, because if you're a mother fox with a litter of 6 or 8 kits and half of them are males, you don't want to give them milk full of estrogens. And so nature times it so the little ones are ready to wean, and as soon as she gets pregnant, boom, they're weaned. So the males don't get the estrogens. So anyway, that's supposed to happen with dairy cows, but we blew past that now for the sake of money. And now the milk is full of estrogens, and they've done studies. I posted it on my website. That you give, they got 6 men, 5 kids, 7 women, and gave them 2 glasses of milk to drink, and collected their urine every 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, their urine is pouring with estrone, estradiol, estriol, pregnanediol, progesterone. These are official mammalian estrogens. These are not the puny little phytoestrogens in soy. These are official mammalian, and they are active. The testosterone level on the boys and the men plummeted. They got a big jolt of estrogens. And the authors are saying this is just regular commercial cow's milk. It's full of estrogens now because the cows are pregnant. So we're watching our little girls go through puberty at age 9 and 10. Could have something to do with this river of milk and cheese and ice cream and yogurt. We're telling them to pour down their gullet full of bovine estrogens. And they not only go through puberty, they have to deal with their sexuality at age 9, but you follow them into adulthood, they get a nasty instance of breast cancer because their breast tissue has been stimulated with estrogen since childhood. And from the dairy. And you go to rural China, you go to rural Vietnam, where there's no big dairy out there. They're not doing the biopsies for breast lumps. Get your mammograms, ladies. Why do American women get all these breast lumps? It's not normal. It's not natural. That's not supposed to happen. Could have something to do with all the milk and cheese for your bones. Got to get that calcium. So eat more cheese, eat more yogurt. Well, they're making more estrogens at the same time. They get these lumps. Ooh, I'm sorry, Miss Jones, you got to biopsy that. And some go malignant. It's higher in dairy-eating countries. Could there be a connection there? And estrogens make the prostate gland in guys unstable. And the more dairy a guy eats, the higher his risk of prostate cancer. And the more cheese a boy eats, the higher his risk of prostate cancer when he's a full adult male, because he's made his prostate gland unstable as a kid with all the estrogens. We've tinkered with nature, and not in a good way here for the sake of money, and it's turned on us. And the cows are getting their revenge, if you will, for taking their babies away. And that's a blasphemous thing to say. But on some level, there's a kernel of truth in that. This is out of truth, Where did dairying come from? It says ancient times, a nursing mother got run over by a chariot, and then there's no nursing women in the village, but there's a cow out there just had a calf. Well, by all means, give the milk to the baby and save it from dying. That should have been the end of it. The only use for cow's milk. It was never meant to become this massive industry. And now it's contaminated on so many levels. The cows get leukemia viruses, that winds up in the milk. They get the pesticides and herbicides, and the grains are fed, winds up in the milk. Yeah, it's not a clean product, to say the least. So I'm not a big dairy fan anymore, despite my warm memories as a kid. God bless them, every one of those summers I spent there. But that was the best part of it. The worst is the products we produced. And the dairy farmers are caught in. They're not evil folks. They didn't know. Their father didn't know. My mother didn't know. Nobody knew. But now we know. And they should do something else with the land. Grow broccoli, grow fruit trees, do something else with the land, enough for turn the page on the dairy. We should help these folks transition to something else. We covered that last week, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
And finally, of course, nowadays, 2020, go to dairy case, quote, dairy case at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or any of these places, you see all these amazing substitutes for non-dairy cheeses and ice creams and yogurts and coffee creamers and name a dairy product. There's now a non-dairy and pretty tasty. So, they're treats. They're not health foods, but there's you don't even miss that creamy, chewy, whatever the dairy goes for. You can still have your cheese sensation there. So, let's get on with it and let the cows move over there and live their lives.
Yes, that's true. That's you can have your milk and be vegan too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Oat milk, hemp milk, soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, pick a milk. As long as it came from plants, enjoy. Hi, everyone. Dr. Michael Klaper here, announcing our new format for our Q&A with Dr. K. Each day, Annie Hagen will be asking me one question that's been sent in by our viewers. So if you want to see if your question is getting answered, do join us for our daily Q&A with Dr. K right here. Hope to see you then.